on that note, so Pablo,
Yeah.
tell me about back to the Bodega and how you three met and came up with this crazy concept.
Oh, the con is pretty much what we're doing now, just hanging out. For anybody who don't know what a bodega is, which I'm surprised there's a lot of people that don't know what a bodega is.
All the white people out there don't know what the bodega is.
Just throw the disclaimer out there.
It's pretty much a convenience store that you can usually walk to and buy whatever you need immediately. Usually a front for a drug.
Wow.
Sometimes, you know. Hey, what are you going to say? So there's a lot of bodegas that happen to function across from other bodegas in major cities, and you wonder how they're making money. Don't ask.
Same with barbershops.
But yeah, but pretty much it's just a hang. It's just a hangout. Used to be a podcast where it used to be me and another friend, another mutual friend of me and Will's. We would just talk stuff that we were into, which was a lot of it was hip hop, a lot of it was geek shit, movies, whatever. The theory is just basically you're hanging out. It harkens back to when you were a teenager and you're hanging out with your friends and nobody's looking to go home. You find some place to hang out. A lot of things in the city. If you're in the city, a lot of times that would be the bodega because you can also just run right in, grab something to drink, grab something to eat for like 50 cents and be good. So it's nothing more than just a variation of that. There's a lot of that nowadays too. But yeah, I did it as a podcast, and then I was asked if I was curious about bringing it back around again. So I brought up Will because, like I said, we had a mutual friend that I did the podcast with, and Will was one of those people that was always in touch with me during that period. Because we all met around the college years, right? That's when we all met up.
Period. Bringing it full circle.
Bringing it Word back. Of the day. Period.
When you hear it, scream.
Yep. And Matt was an ex coworker of mine.
I had to break him in as a truck driver.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
But we found out we have a lot of things in common because he's also another city kid. And
really?
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the white boy exterior. My dude knows hip hop better than most of these fools that claim hip hop. So it's just like once I brought it back around, it was like, why not? We represent every aspect that is probably part of that hip hop culture, or at least are fascinated with it and know about hanging out and know about all that stuff that doesn't really happen too much anymore. Mm-hmm. And as you can tell by the way the show's been going, we have way too much fun just busting balls. We'll still we'll still bring it back to the topic, but we have fun with it. And that's the point of the show. So good. Just hanging out. And the twist now is that unintentional, but it's there. Like I said, there's a lot of shows that do something similar, but they're more aimed at the millennial crowd. Now, we are representing the old school. Mm-hmm. We are representing the old school. You ain't got to emphasize it. Damn it.
Everybody here is gray. Except for Matt, because he just...
Matt Ball.
I had to put the hat on. That light would ruin everything.
And then you got Will sitting here in the middle, like the rose between two thorns. And
resident celebrity.
He is the resident celebrity. And
yes.
I wouldn't exactly say that.
Oh, come on. No.
Well, please, the way that those people were... going, oh my God!
She's seen it firsthand.
That's because it was the last
incredible.
day to shoot, and I was on vacation. It was the first day I could be on set.
Whatever.
Roll my eyes for. I gotta explain nothing to you. What you can
for the people that don't understand?
You can do this stuff for me. I ain't sleeping on the couch tonight.
Clearly, the anticipation was
this hasn't been
them.
thoroughly explained. Will has
I can't help it. That they love a brother. It's Saugerties. There's not a lot of black people up there. Let's be real about that. Okay.
That too.
Shots fired.
Okay, so I was actually going to flow I was actually just going to go into your acting and what you are into at this point. Like, you are into a lot of acting. Like,
my man's creative as hell.
Right?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that this acting that I'm doing, it's a second side hustle. It's not even the main thing. Mm-hmm. So.
And how does that affect your family? Like, you're not home. Like, does your wife get resentful sometimes?
Ooh.
I mean, not
Yeah, she pulled a butter knife on me and tried to spread my ass to death. That shit was scary.
Yo. I'm done.
I knew he'd
Excuse me.
It just clicks with Matt.
Check, please.
Like, did he just crack a joke? No.
Give him another mellow cup. Continue.
Yeah, toss over the mellow cup over here. All right.
I'm gonna throw salami in your ass. Go ahead.
Basic.
All right.
Damn.
Wow.
Now I'm trying to like have you.
You know, to be honest, if I just walked by you in the street, I knew you had a mixed kid because you got the mixed kid woman haircut, but I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Well, it's not fucking flipped back, bitch.
No, it's right there. I'm telling you.
See,
If you would have told me you were an RN, you would have hit the trifecta right there. And if you had like a boy named Jaden, it would have been pew, just like right there.
Wow. And I wasn't even going deep on you, motherfucker. You're gonna come to bro. And I was helping you promote your shit.
Still getting promoted.
I'm still getting. Hey.
Such a dick.
What's she? I don't think she.
He can't get back on. He's trying.
I'm trying to stay on topic and not crack at the same time.
Oh, you derailed.
It's a thin, fine line. It's a thin line. It's a thin line.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I don't think she resents because basically, if I work on something, maybe I work on something 1 or 2 days. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours, but I got a lot of vacation time because I work for a startup. So I burn through the vacation time to work on it. Or if I'm doing an overnight shoot, everybody's asleep, nobody cares. I get home at 3 in the morning or something. So whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Are you mad because of the haircut thing?
Yo.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I am. I'm actually pretty tight about that.
She's like,
I'm not even gonna fucking lie.
Oh, you
know what?
You wanted the smoke.
Because let me tell you something.
Bring the smoke.
I actually am pretty tight about that because I get fucked with about my haircut all the time.
I don't think there's anything wrong with your haircut.
Karen's gonna report you to the fucking manager. You know what? Everybody can eat a bag of motherfucking dicks because
please don't talk to my manager.
Seriously, it is my fucking haircut.
Damn.
Yo.
Bag o' dicks.
Bag of dicks.
Yeah,
down
but
to
at least
the
it's
rind.
not. At least it's not a Rachel Friends
Yo,
haircut. So I mean,
yo.
what's that?
Because they're white.
Damn well.
Seriously.
I don't need to say
And I was on your
anything.
goddamn side.
I don't need to say anything.
Well, you better just get
I'm
your own
married,
drinks
sure.
for the rest of the day.
Yo.
It's all on you. You got to stay neutral. You like, I want to laugh,
he don't
but
have
she'll
to stay
fucking kill
neutral
me.
because he doesn't have to stay neutral.
There is one train car
Anyway.
that is off the rails and just being
he would
dragged.
Excuse me for spicing this up a little bit. I haven't been around my boys in a while.
It's spicy.
She's like, first time, last time, been on the show. Grand opening, grand closing.
Well then.
Anyway.
So
No, but like I have to be honest. Like he would be working on shows and stuff, and I'd be resentful. You know, he's out doing all these cool things. Yeah, he's bringing home a paycheck, but
Right.
shit, I'm here holding it down. You know, and it fucking sucks.
I don't think she's there yet because it's like I'm not. As much as I'm working, I'm sure it's not as close to what Guy is working. I mean, it's maybe I work on something once a month, if that. Like I worked on 2 things last month, and then I didn't work on anything from like June and July. So, and if there are, I go to a lot of functions where you get to network and meet people and stuff. I always bring her along. So
Right,
so
there's a difference.
it's not like
You're
I'm doing movie
inclusive.
shit. Peace out. It's
Right.
not like that.
Right.
But
Well, I mean,
Papa was a Rolling
and that's good that you.
yeah, that's it.
include her.
That's it. I'm just going on sets, just like bang, bang, bang. That's what I'm doing.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Talk about. Hey, can you bring out some more hard-boiled eggs? Wait a second. Bang. Okay, thank you.
Hard-boiled eggs.
Because the craft services.
Okay,
The craft services.
got it. I understand that, but
Okay, well,
Hard-boiled
I have a
eggs?
question for you. Then.
celebrity.
Drop the
What's-
question.
no, the best craft services you've had on set so far.
Yo,
You don't have to name drop the movie. Just
no. Just
what was there.
anything that HBO does. That's all I gotta say. It's like going to fucking Golden Corral. I've never been to one. It's just they just spread it all out.
yours was Google, right? Or
Well,
no, Twitter.
Twitter was excellent. And I mean, like everything you've ever heard, every stereotype you've ever heard about
Every
Twitter headquarters. Yeah, no, like craft beer on tap.
On tap.
Just different rooms with like jars of snacks and gummy bears and granola bars and like whatever you want. The
Please.
cafeteria, they have
We
like
get
a
filtered
guest
water.
Cafeteria had a guest chef for the week making the menu for the week. Like it was just bananas. I didn't want to leave. I was like, oh,
This is in Manhattan.
yeah.
I've been to Google in Manhattan. I've been to Facebook Manhattan, but I've never been to Twitter. Well, actually, Google was insane because they gave us a tour. I went for this marketing thing because I'm a marketer. That's what I do. That's my career. I'm a digital marketing strategist. So I come up with, digital advertising schemes. So I went to a seminar, and it was at Google headquarters. And they took us to the engineers floor on the 7th floor or whatever. Then they took us to the next floor up, which was the cafeteria. And they said specifically, we give the engineers free lunches because we don't want them to leave the building.
Right.
So I went up there. There was like chefs and shit, and there was all these different stations. Like the whole floor was just like a huge cafeteria. And of course, I'm a city dude. I'm like, where the fuck are the cash registers at? And like, no, they don't have to pay nothing because we want them to. There's people going by on like fucking hoverboards and scooters and shit.
Why don't they want you to leave the building? That sounds kind of like hostage kind of thing.
Because if they're programmers, if any corporation that hires programmers, you don't want them to go nowhere. You want them to sit chained to the desk and program and code.
Right.
Gotcha.
You leave, you get distracted.
Yeah, you leave, you get distracted, you run into an old girlfriend at a coffee shop, you're hitting on a subway, you singing I'll Be Sure and shit. You ain't coming back to do that code. You're like, fuck that.
So,
sure. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
But yeah,
leather jacket.
with the unibrow and shit. Talk about on your own, girl. Just like whatever on the fucking train and shit. Literally, that's
shout out to jean jackets.
Yes, shout out to jean jackets. But that's what they do. They don't want the programmers to leave. So their whole thing is, we'll give you free lunch. And Google headquarters is across the street from the Food Network headquarters.
Oh, well,
that's what. Yeah. So hell yeah. They got the hook.
That's
I'm just like, damn.
Right there,
I'm like,
buddy.
can I be a janitor here? Some shit. I'm like, damn.
And that's what I was thinking.
Yo, the same floor, they had a table. They had people signing up for some like
next week at the Fries.
Hello. Talk about I work at Google shit, just like windows and a squeegee, like ew. They had a massage parlor.
You think of garbage, think of
it's like
Think of garbage.
No, it was the reference.
You think of garbage? Think of Will. But I'm getting Google checks though. No.
That's
I get
crazy.
free gourmet lunch. Yeah, but they didn't want people to leave. They said specifically that's why they did it.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
it makes
totally
sense.
Yeah.
And then there was one other shoot that I was working on, and I don't even remember who it was, but like it was some warehouse in Brooklyn. But like their craft services, they had every day for 5 days straight a red meat option, a seafood option, and a vegetarian option. Like one day they had like king crab legs, and I didn't want to be greedy. Like, I don't know anybody else there except like the couple of people I showed up with. So I got my couple of crab legs, and anybody that knows me knows. Yeah, it's just a straight up addiction. I don't try to hide it anymore.
If we go out.
He's
to
like,
dinner,
I don't even try to hide it anymore.
If we go out to dinner and he goes to get crab legs, you need to make sure that you prepare that you're going to be there for an hour and a half, because he will sit there and he will eat those crab legs for an hour and a half.
I'll do that with muscles.
That's how my pops is.
Muscles.
That's how my pops.
I see him do it with muscles.
Hundreds and hundreds of muscles.
Yep.
I don't care. I'll eat.
I don't fuck around with the nutcrackers either.
No.
He's like,
and I don't have time.
Yeah, no, I sat down and I'm eating mine, but I'm keeping an eye on the line. So I'm waiting to see who's going for seconds.
You don't want to be that person.
Right, yeah. You don't want to
be the first.
Right.
Yeah. When you're an eater, you got the eye for that. I'm always looking. Oh, he's going up. Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, no. See, and he sends me pictures from craft services, and I'm like, fuck you,
Yeah.
fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm here with your daughter, and we're
dare you.
eating goddamn chicken nuggets. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
eating crab legs.
Guys,
till
eating
my
king
arms
crab.
get tired.
And I'm dealing with
eating
all the
crab
hard
legs.
shit. I'm doing goddamn laundry.
She's eating
and you're
fucking Hot Pockets and shit, all pissed off.
Seriously,
Burning the
like
roof of her mouth.
She's like, I don't even like meatballs. Oh.
But that's the thing, I'll be
This
honest.
motherfucker trading places, lobster or cracked crab. Why can't we have both?
Shit. But you smile as the wife, and you're like, okay, great, honey, I'm glad you're having a great time.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, you're like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm home by myself, dealing with all this shit.
Meanwhile, he's got that plate of crab legs. Talk about.
Look what I'm eating.
All right, yeah, that motherfucker Craig going on for seconds. That's me, fam. That's me. So I'm eyeing that motherfucker. Craig got up,
Man,
halfway sat
come
down.
to my rescue, man. Something. Add something.
I like crab legs. I got nothing.
Yeah, it's like that's just right. Yeah, it's like, who doesn't like crab legs? Especially if you get them on Perillo tours.
Oh my God! Have you gone to that stupid crab place over in?
No, I
Pittsburgh?
have. No.
Don't go.
But they got the boils.
They got the boils, but you wait for like 17
Bougie.
hours.
If I have crab,
and then
I'm in Maryland.
It's like, it's awful. We went there a couple of weeks ago, and it was just terrible. It was terrible. But anyway, I know.
Like he's all crying and shit. He's like, crab.
Crying over the crab.
I know. Snow crab, king crab.
The crabs and
my man
crab
over there
legs are
looking
two
like a
different
crying
things.
Indian.
He's not crying over the crab.
He's like, if I could, I'd eat those crabs that were in Clash of the Titans. There's some big motherfuckers. That's good meat. He's all crying.
See,
I'm
that's
gonna take it
crying.
He's not wrong.
He's like, he's not wrong.
Did you hear what Brad said? You'd be crying if you had the crab.
Oh yeah, you would be crying.
I eat them motherfuckers too.
I wanna.
My man crying like he listening to a breakup tape. Talk about,
It's the mixtape.
talk about he's calling his girlfriend, look, girl. I want the fire back. I know we're over. I want the fire back. Give me those mixtapes I gave you, bitch. Click. Ooh.
Oh man, that's old school right there.
You remember the
Exactly. That's how I used to hang up on people. I'll be like, yo, I want you to talk to my cousin Tone.
Leave the phone off the hook.
So you got a closet? Hang this up.
If you'd like to make a call.
But then after
like
I
to
saw
make a call.
8mm, did my shit kind of change? I was like, two tienes los películas de snuff. Like what? Like, I did that for like a while.
8mm. 8mm was that movie was. Yikes.
I have the script. The script is worse because it's like I'm like, damn, they cut out a lot of shit. It's like after you read it, it's like, do I have Bibles in the house? You know, you're just like looking.
I need to go to church. I need to have a minute.
Talk about where's the closest gospel choir? Okay, Jersey. All right, see them all.
Maddie, you've been kind of quiet.
Because he thinking about crab legs. I'm thinking about crab legs too. I'm about ready to shake my ass to like Stop and Shop. It's
I
legs.
I got some in the freezer.
Talk
if
about
you
what
want
you
some.
mean $12.99 a cluster? That's some bullshit.
It's like
I'm
my
no
mother-in-law.
celebrity. They're talking about celebrity stuff.
Yeah, you and
I didn't know
like,
you need to be a celebrity
I'm
to get
just-
crab
We're
legs.
not celebrities.
Like
Yeah,
damn.
you go on Twitter to
You
get your
fancy.
crab legs. He's over there.
He got the
He
crab
got the
legs.
Twitter
Twitter.
Oh, whatever. He's got the Twitter crab legs. You got. This guy's got HBO.
I didn't even eat it at fucking Google. I just saw all the engineers eat. I'm like, damn.
Got the fucking Aldi fucking chicken nuggets. That's what
Yeah.
$8.99.
Yo, don't sleep on Aldi. Aldi, I get my milk from Aldi. I get my eggs from
shop
Aldi.
there every week.
They got that sign with the eggs. You ever see it? Like limit 6, please. I'm like, damn, who's coming in talking about 9 dozen, motherfucker?
The blueberry lady.
Another throwback to an earlier episode.
Earlier episode. Let me tell you something. I go there every week, and there was this one bitch there every fucking week. Old lady.
Feel that heat. She's like,
Sagging ass in her tights and shit.
Damn.
With the sneakers, and she's like this with the cart. Every week for like 3 weeks, this bitch would go in and take all the blueberries. She would wipe out the fucking blueberries.
Really?
She would take them by cases. She would have them stacked up in her cart, and I was like, yo, there should be some kind of limit. And then she went on to the chicken breast. Like, it was... Yo, I almost had to fight this
Decisions were
bitch
made.
in all
Blueberries and
yeah,
chicken
decisions
breast.
were made, yeah.
But I don't know what.
Maybe her
what
cousin's
what are you
strawberry
doing
shortcake
that?
and they're making a comeback.
Blueberry chicken.
Strawberry shortcake.
Blueberry chicken.
What are you
She's
doing with
blueberry
blueberries
muffin.
and chicken breast?
Yeah, maybe she's shooting some underground cooking show and she needs it for the blueberry wine sauce. You just never know.
Then invite me over. But
Yeah,
shit,
exactly.
Don't be taking all
Next
the
time you
blueberries.
You called her a bitch.
Yeah.
She's not inviting you over.
Yo,
She
We
was
saw her
it
one
was-
day in Verizon. I thought I saw a celebrity. Melissa's like, that's the blueberry lady.
You should have just walked over to him like, did you get your quarterback from the cart, bitch? And then just like walk out.
Seriously, because yo, I'm not even kidding. Like, I took Jenna. Jenna never wants to go grocery shopping because it means work. Okay, so she never ever wants to go. The other day, she's like, hey, I want to go. I want to see the blueberry lady. So she ends up going with me just to see, like, Bigfoot, okay? And then we end up getting there, and that's the day she's stealing all the fucking chicken breast, you know? And she's like, oh, she's chicken breast too, Mommy. What?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my God. And she's making a scene. She's like, look, she's right there. I'm like, there's discretion. Discretion.
No,
But-
that generation knows nothing of discretion.
Oh my
nothing.
God. They
Nothing.
whisper like this.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know. No. But
My son got on my nerves yesterday. So I'm trying to. I said to them, "You're both going to bed when we get home." My daughter's like, "What did I do?" I said, "Just go in your room. We'll talk about it when we get home." But I want to know. I said, "Shut your mouth. We'll talk about it when we get home." Because if she starts in, then he's going to start in. If I get them both to agree, I get him off the bed. I tell my daughter, "You go ahead and watch a little TV because you didn't do nothing wrong." But she had to blow it up, make it worse. I almost got to the point where she was going to go to bed.
And how old is he?
He's 5.
And what did he do at 5?
He was acting up. It was after football practice. He was acting up.
What was acting up, though? Like, what do you consider acting up?
Throwing a fit.
Did you punch him? Cause...
No. I did something worse. I made him carry his own gear.
Fuck you.
Yeah, man.
God damn it.
Carry your own gear.
I would have tased him, honestly.
You know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
And you know what? That brings up a good point because this generation doesn't have a clue.
Soft.
Not a clue what it is to actually do and carry your own weight.
Soft.
Not a clue.
They're soft.
Jenna doesn't.
Some of it's our fault. Some of it is the environment that they are in.
Yeah, of course.
That we also are victims of.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I was raised. You did what you had to do. You paid. You.
And you knew what was
earned
coming
your
if you
keep.
didn't.
Yeah.
I was 15 years old, and my mother couldn't afford to pay the fucking light bill. So I was out making fishing lures after school to help her supplement her electrical bill. You know. Mm-hmm. And I had a job from 15 on. I never had a job, had a period where I didn't have a job,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 14
now
for me.
I can't get my kid to pick her fucking socks up out of the bathroom.
We have the Amazon Echo. Her lights are hooked up to it. And we have the regular switch. She cannot turn her lights off.
Oh, that
Lightning,
bitch.
yeah.
That bitch.
Every day,
All
same
you have
argument.
to do is speak
Same
it.
argument.
You don't even have to use your finger muscles to turn it off.
Same
She
argument in
can't
my house.
Turn it off.
Fucking lights.
Yo, my kids are
Closing
lazy
the
as fuck.
bathroom.
And it's just, I'm like, you can program a fucking phone, but you can't, like, pick up that nugget you dropped on the floor. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? Like, I want to beat her. I really do. Like,
Yeah,
I
no.
want to slap her on a regular basis, but I don't.
I know.
And I want to curse at her.
We're handcuffed.
But I don't. I don't curse at her. And I want to be like, pick up your fucking clothes off the floor. But I don't do that. I'm like the mom.
I have.
And I say, pick
try
up
not
your
to, but-
clothes. And then I get to the point where I go batshit crazy. And I come to the verge of using the F word, but I haven't gone there yet. But it's going to be, it's a fine line. It's a fine line.
I do it more
because
now,
he just
but-
disappears. He's just like, whatever. And then,
Because I get in trouble.
but no. Like the other night,
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
it is better, like, if, look, my daughter, like, she drives us nuts sometimes. And it got to a point where it was either we had to go see someone to talk about it or kill her.
Oh.
So,
seeing someone is a good option.
yeah, so we saw someone a few times, like, in the past, like, couple of months. And she specifically told me that if my wife and my daughter get into some shit, which is like every night, that I got to stay out of it, because when I get into it, I escalate the situation. But at the same time, when I get into it, it's like, you know how you go past that point? This is like 9 points later. You're just sitting there watching, just okay, you know. And then when I get involved, it's literally because she's gone way past the point of disrespect. But the therapist is like, you got to stay out of it when they're doing their thing. So
Right.
that's what I do. It's at a point now where I get so twisted about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to the supermarket for a minute. I'll be right back. You know,
But
and
you
then
get twisted about what part of it?
because the kids, and I think it's just the kids in this generation, are so fucking disrespectful.
Of course.
It's just like, and then, of course, you know, I got a 12-year-old that acts like she's like 29 and thinks she knows everything. And she, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, here's proof that you're wrong. But still, I'm like, look, here's more proof. Look, I'm scrolling. Look at this. Look at this
Yeah.
fucking research. Look, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like the sun is round. You know, it's like whatever. It's just like whatever.
Exactly.
It's just,
They
you
will
know,
argue over everything. Yeah,
they will argue over everything.
something
And then
going around.
usually,
Disrespect's at an all-time high.
you know, and then,
No doubt.
kids, it's like, buy me this, buy me that. It's like, I can't even take them in the supermarket. You know, I'm like, that's how we were when we were kids. But the difference is that if my dad was like, shut the fuck up, you ain't getting it, then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, no, they're like negotiating.
They'll
I'm shit.
keep
I'm like, do
going.
you sell cars and shit?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's with this negotiation skills?
Yes.
Then I almost feel proud because I'm like, they got that from me, but at the same time, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, and then they just
Yeah,
keep going and going.
There's gonna be
And
there better be a lot of attorneys in the next 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
What usually shuts them
Absolutely.
down is
Lot.
like, here's an
Better be a
idea.
lot.
Why don't you break out that fucking wallet you got and buy the shit you want? And, you know, they're 12 and 10. So
Right.
it's just like, it's just crickets and shit because
Yeah.
it's nothing. I'm like, oh, you can't buy it? Shut the fuck up. Thank you. You know, and that's
Exactly.
basically what it is.
Yeah.
Get me a phone. I'm like, get you a phone. Get me a phone first.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
See, so like I have that similar situation, but a lot of times I don't have that. You know, there's not that head butting thing where he actually gets involved. I end up dealing with it, and then he's just kind of like, all right. You
How
know,
old is
she's
Jenna
dealing-
again?
And I'm
10.
usually the one doing the headbutting. in
Yeah,
my
get
house.
ready. It's going to get a lot more exciting.
I'm sure. But like, he doesn't have his tone. He goes from 0 to 120.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't have that in between.
There's no in between.
He has
not
no in
arguing the
between.
Because
Listen,
zero.
no, I am not arguing the point.
My wife
I
has
shut shit
odd
down.
hours.
Like,
I'm
that's
just acknowledging the
bedtime.
camera. He's
Right.
there.
I
just
deal with the whole
agreeing.
afternoon routine.
Right.
The way I feel, 0 should be enough.
Right.
When I've tried 0 a few times, it's 120. Now,
Yeah.
me and my daughter, we butt heads.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
and the look used to work. You used to give him the look or whatever.
Yeah,
now,
that
Used to work. It
now
don't
it's
work.
at a
It's
point
a
where
joke
like
now.
Look
you have
that
to do
used
a look.
The look that used to freak us all out.
Yeah.
And every
the
parent,
look-
I don't know about y'all, but I couldn't walk down the block without a neighbor, an aunt, somebody who knew you, and they shoot you a look. They shoot a look that they would shoot their own kids, and you would still
See,
shoot
we
a
don't
break
even
like,
have
Are you
that.
kidding me? On
But we
my
don't
block,
have that
my
anymore.
parents' friends had permission to
gonna
spank
say,
me.
That's what I'm
There
saying.
is nothing more
People
embarrassing
on the
than
block will
someone
give you a
not
crap.
related to
Thank
you
I got
whooping
my
your ass on
whooped
the
by a
street.
neighbor.
Yes.
But see, we don't have
Yes.
that anymore.
No.
No,
we
we
don't
don't.
have that
No.
community.
No, you don't. You don't.
See, you could do the
People
look now,
move.
but now you got to
Well,
pull out
hold
like
on,
a
hold on
12
now.
gauge with the
In
look.
defense of that, if I saw a neighbor trying to spank
Yeah.
my child, I would fuck that person
Probably
up.
because
No,
you
no,
don't
hold
know
on.
your
No,
neighbor
the
like
neighbors
you.
have the
That's
they have the
why.
green light.
And
They got the green
That's
light.
why.
All I gotta say is,
That's
if
why.
you see my
Everybody
kid acting a fool,
Everybody, you know.
smack him the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
up.
My
That's what I'm
neighborhood
talking
was-
about.
Absolutely.
That's
My-
Because that's
the-
neighborhood.
I lived in mortal
That's
fear.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
There
I
is no
lived in mortal
neighborhood.
fear
That
that
no
I lived in a
neighborhood,
block
though.
that
Look
three
at this.
houses.
They're doing 50
because
miles
two
an hour
were
by the
family and
house
one
right
with
now.
one with a
There's no
family
neighborhood.
friend.
No,
You know what I
this
mean?
is
Had
Somebody drives
express
by, you barely get a
permission
chance to wave at
by
them, you
my
know?
mother to
And it's,
whoop
you know,
my
it's like,
ass
oh,
if
here
I
they
was
come,
acting
you
a
know.
fool hanging out.
exactly.
But
Like,
that's-
that was-
But that's the part that I'm getting at is
Yeah.
just what you guys were saying. Like, we, for our part, we don't know our neighbors. Like,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No, we don't. Yeah.
But you know what?
it
When
took everything I had.
You know,
to
it's a
talk
double-edged
to
sword
a
for me.
stranger
oh my
that-
God, it was a big deal.
Yeah,
There was a
like,
new
I
guy
don't-
down the street, our age ish. I mean, we're old as fuck, but this guy was ish, our age, and he was like driving by on his ATV, and guys like, you know, like trying to do everything
I
to
understand.
avoid
Like I
him.
said, I don't know my neighbors. Okay, that sucks.
but I want to know my
Double
neighbors.
sided that sword is like, I don't want to fucking know that shit anyway. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
know them.
no.
I'm to a
Right.
point in my life. I don't need nobody new.
And,
I
you know,
understand that,
I
but
don't
I
need
want to
'em,
know
but
who
that-
I'm living next to.
I know now. I know a
You
few
know?
of them. We're fortunate. One of my daughter's best friends, they moved in across the street. So that worked out.
That's
So,
perfect.
You know, that's good for her. I can kick her out, send her across the street.
Yep, yep.
You know, vice versa. I'm sure they do the same. But
And that's good.
You know,
like
that's
I
cool.
want that type of atmosphere for my kid. I never had that. I was an only child, so I was just like, like I play in the dirt, you know. But Jenna's an only child, and she's got a lot of friends around the area. But I want her to be able to have that experience. But it's up to us to make sure that when they go to other people's houses, that they don't act like assholes, you know. And
from what I'm told, my kid does not.
exactly.
Oh yeah, my
Guess
kid's an
that-
angel
yeah.
in other people's
Exactly.
houses.
They're
like
angels.
guess, like you take solace and like, all right, we're doing something right. But why
Yes.
can't I get some of that at my house?
Exactly.
You know, that's good. I'm happy. I'm not getting embarrassed in public behind my back. But
Because I will fuck
Can
you
I get
up
some
if
of that?
you embarrass
Let me
me.
get some
I
of
will
that.
fuck you up.
I mean, speaking for myself, I know it's if I ever had any blowback like that, it's always been because I find myself being guilty because it's the mentality of you want to be better than what your parents were.
Of course.
Especially if you're in a situation where your parents weren't the greatest either. So sometimes you let a lot more slide than you probably should have. And of course, if you let too much slide early on and you don't give it any weight or anything, you know what I mean? No, you're just like, it's not, and you wave it off. My experience is that's when that shit starts rearing its ugly head a couple years down the road because there was nothing established early on.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when and even if those kids go to somebody else's house, to behave, chances are it's because since day one, you always told them, you go there, you better not do this, you better not do that,
Right.
you better not do that.
Right.
But you let shit slide at home. And then when it comes, and then you give it a couple years, then it's like, I don't understand. Why do you? And that's when you just want to gut check one. You just want to just walk by them when they're standing around.
Bam.
Like,
Fucking punch him in the gut.
That's why a taser.
A taser, exactly. I
duct
need to
tape.
invest in that.
He's
I
like,
got pepper
I
spray.
duct tape.
I have duct tape.
Duct tape.
I have
pepper
duct tape.
spray.
No duct tape. Yeah, gaffer tape. Oh, duct
Gaffer.
tape. Gaffer
We have
tape.
a plethora of gaffer tape in this house.